Session 23. A couple of weeks of break there, but here we are. So, jumping straight in, Keramaros, the holy city in Dorothea, a large settlement home to many a person, much more right now actually, because of the various upheavals in the lands. There's a lot of people coming over this way for religious purposes, pilgrims essentially, just straight up refugees displaced from wherever they lived by the upheavals of the day. It's evening, getting into midnight, and it's spring. The temperatures fluctuate a little bit. It's a fairly warm place to start with. There is a mist bank that has rolled into the city this spring evening, and it's a little bit chillier than usual, maybe. Folks kind of retreat inside. For example, there's not really, outside of taverns and whatnot, there's nobody at the tables outside. Everyone's sort of going in to escape the sort of damp and dreary evening. And the city overall is rather sleepy in its activity just in general this evening. And when true darkness falls, most of the city is asleep, which is not especially unusual, but this night they are in very deep sleep indeed. And we have a situation where Wyatt is coming back from some errand, heading towards the underground tower of the Dark Watches. And you thought it was a coincidence. You've seen a couple of figures sort of out and about, but you saw them a couple times too many, and you figure something's afoot. And as if by fate, depending on whether Wyatt believes in that or not, you're about that astrology life, though. But given that you've noted a couple of figures, long robes, long flowing robes, censers being swung, while the city itself seems profoundly more pacified than usual at this hour. At the very least, there should be drunkards outside. No one is. It's just you, the couple censor bearers you've seen who have disappeared into the evening mist. And now, in front of you, appearing from the misty street, as if apparating from thin air, though that surely is not the case, because he is flesh and blood. Athelstan, your Athel or Adelstan?
Adelstan.
Adelstan,
yeah.
Adelstan is stood there in a priest's, like a very down to earth, sort of almost like a lay priest's robe. Seems, depending on how you recall this person, it may or may not be different to what your memory has stored away. Seems a little bit agitated, almost wild, sort of hairs, all kinds of, it's like a shock of hair. It brings to mind more like one of the really, really zealous flagellants, more than a sort of perhaps more sophisticated, noble-born, sort of like delicate priest figure.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
he should be.
he, like myself, tends to take on guises and identities, but this seems to be a bit sticking to the role.
Yeah. So he does, like, he would fit in quite well at the House of Prophecy as let's say, a person who received more than their fair share of divine wisdom in a very short time and was rather overcome by it. But he stood, though, like, visibly there's a tension and a sort of agitation in his form. He's stood completely still as you sort of come across this figure in the misty streets. What do you do?
Well, I would have been walking, maybe referring to my little book, or I take my notes, whistling, keeping my eyes and ears open, but pretending as if I'm unaware that I'm being followed. But obviously, when he appears, I will drop the pretense. I will look him square in the eyes and say, "Hello, brother. Fancy meeting you here."
He stares at you, unblinking, and, like, unkind folks might call the stare crazy.
Okay.
He
right.
sort of like bores into your skull with the stare and sort of nods as a way of greeting.
I need to yeah, okay. I need to do a roll here then. This is
Charge.
yeah, this is not the way he this is not him, really. It doesn't seem like, at least not as I've known him throughout the years. What would be a good role to try to pick up on whether or not he's putting on a guise, or if he's
perception
really insane?
is sort of generally good for picking up some stuff.
Yeah, cool. So just general perception then.
Yeah, perception, obstacle 2.
Cool. All right, I'll give it a one.
He's not actively resisting this.
Yeah.
So.
This is sort of hopefully beneath my abilities, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of day it is. Yeah.
There we go.
There is probably some affectation, but it's not a role per se. Like, there's something earnest there as well.
He's starting to lose it.
Some part of this is real for sure. That's what you come away with. But then, given that the man perhaps is equipped with a sort of comprehensive repertoire of tools of deception, then maybe kind of, there's something there, but what is this other shit then?
Right.
But yeah, no, he's not completely
he's not completely lying, in other words.
He's not completely going method actor here. He's
got it.
There's something real here.
There's some real underlying there. You do not seem well.
Where is it? He sort of whispers very loudly.
I'm sorry. Where's the what?
Listen, we don't have a lot of time. Where is the crown? It's sort of like you see his, like, fingers twitch.
I slowly let my hands just rise ever so slightly at my sides, and the crown. You want
It
the
nods,
crown?
nods
Oh,
fervently.
oh. Well, see, I just let that slip to you. I wanted you to come here.
Did you lie?
Well, perhaps, maybe, if you win, you can find out for yourself. And at that, I'm going to cast.
Shards.
Yeah, I'm going to cast the
Yeah.
by bolt
Yeah.
tempest at him. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, let's go.
Let me just go to the roll. Let's see. Oh, it's been so long, but I can fork in something here. I know I can. Oh, bear with. It's been ages since I've actually looked at the book.
Demonology and Perilous.
Astrology, astronomy, alchemy.
Astronomy, alchemy, no.
None
Astrology,
of them
yes.
really come into play at the moment, and I still need to work on my Imperia. I think
Mm.
I gotta build that one up.
Yeah, Angel School.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and then and it keeps coming up. It seems so.
Mhm.
I kind of want this to work, so I think I'll put a persona point to that. What's that? Oh, we'll just put a 1, right, for the obstacle because it's
No,
opposed.
it's from the spell.
Oh, is it? My bad. I'll tell you what that is. Just 2 seconds. It is a 3, so I got a 4 with a 6 in there. So
Yeah, I
can
know
I?
it rolled it automatically because it's a.
Yeah, but can I dump a fate point onto that anyway for the
Yes, yes, you
sorcery?
can. You can re-roll one of the things that didn't succeed with one thing.
1d6, right? Oh shit! I forgot how to play this now. There we go. Oh, yeah, there you go. Another success.
Right. So
Take
the
it.
method here is like blast of it.
Of like swirling really fast air and then just goes like that. Yeah.
So he is sent flying in the streets. I think he crashes into a window on some domicile,
Nice.
and that breaks.
I have to pay for that.
He's got like one of the whatever the term for is, you've got like a window, you've got 4 panes, there's the wooden cross section in the middle. He's got like a bit of that like sticking from his side as he gets up and like digs it out, and he's looking pretty battered from the toss that you gave him as he stands up, and he's like, no, tell me the crown is here. Tell me you didn't lie. Whatever this is, we can deal with it later. But and he's like pointing an accusing finger at you. Yeah, he looks kind of fucked up from the the into the wall.
Now you are just ruining this. This is not how I saw this going at all. And
No, it's going to be very bad very soon. Where is the crown, brother? And he's sort of gaining, like he's like straightening his back now.
Yeah.
And it's like it goes from the sort of crazy prophet pointing at you into like, no, you bring it to me now because I said so.
There you are. There you are. And I want to throw another one at him.
So you don't need to roll. You already did that. So he goes into I guess the same wall.
This house is I'm gonna need to
he goes through the wall.
Gonna need to remodel that.
It takes a bit, but you hear furniture moving a little bit, like maybe a table is overturned as he's coming back out. And as he does,
are you still alive, Adelstan?
As he comes out, the forearm, there's probably like 20 centimeters more than there was the last time you saw his forearm. And his robe is tattered now because he's being blasted into through a building, and he is let's say he's like 1/3 larger in every dimension than he was when he went into the house, and he's crawling out, and there's this like, listen to me, stop this, where's the crown? And he's sort of crawling along the floor.
Oh, well, now, you aren't entirely what you seem, are you?
It's the only chance for either of us. Get me the crown.
No. Even if I knew where it was, I wouldn't tell you.
And he starts spasming a little bit on the ground and groaning.
Honestly, you're ruining this entire. This was supposed to be. I mean, I suppose I could just kill you, but doesn't even seem like it's worth it.
And there's the voice is sort of like low and rumbly as it comes out of this fairly distorted person now. He says, you don't understand it's not going to be like that. You're not going to kill me. And if you're lucky, maybe no one else is going to die either.
Oh,
the curse of the flame.
Yes, I know what's
starts standing up
here.
And his head hits the.
Did you go north with all those?
There's this
Oh.
And he takes a support beam from inside the house and just like rips it off.
This is definitely a lot worse than I thought.
And he's sort of almost like a drunkard. He's sort of like shambling out now, like 3 meters tall. He's got this like support beam in hand. He's like, bring the crown, please. The curse.
Time for me to take my leave. So can you describe for me a little bit the immediate area? So we're near.
Yeah, it's a street. It's also on one side. There's maybe like a stables. Maybe there's like a large pile of hay on the other side of the like medium-sized road. Like this is like a side thing. It's not like one of the main roads.
It's like an off street, right?
Yeah.
Cobblestone kind of.
Yeah. Cobblestone,
sandstone walls, all that stuff. So I have 2 potential spells that could possibly do what I would like to attempt. But I'd like your feedback.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get off the street and onto one of the buildings and kind of parkour my way out of this. This situation, because
exit.
I got the brief on this, and I'm like, okay, so I didn't think this was my brother entirely before. Now I definitely know Adelstein has left the building, basically. So I'm out of here. So I either want to use the Bull Tempest or my weather working spell to get a wind up, just enough to get me like leaped up onto a building, and then kind of take it naturally from there.
Yeah. Okay, so basically what you would be talking about with the Tempest thing would be what we know from old school first-person shooters is the rocket jump, I guess.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I kind of want to do one of those.
So what I will tell you is, if you hit yourself with the Ball Tempest, you could fly a little bit, as he did.
Can I hit the ground and then let it kind of?
Yeah. So basically, like what I'm saying there is like if you fuck it up, then that's.
I'm gonna get hurt. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna fuck it up. Right. Yeah. That's the fail state. Okay.
And
Not good to be good.
and
All right, sweet.
the weather worker is, as you probably already know, is a lot harder.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
make
That's
happen.
why I would like
Yeah,
to do it with the Bolt
yeah,
Tempest if
yeah.
possible.
But it's fairly
Um,
baller. Like if you conjure a wind, an actual storm strong enough to whisk you away.
yeah, that would be baller, but I'm not like Wraithwind levels yet, so we're gonna wait for that trick later. We'll do the dirt down and dirty version of it right now.
Mhm.
All right, cool. So roll sorcery for that.
Yeah, yeah. Just cast the thing
Bolt
for this
Tempest.
purpose.
It's the Bolt Tempest. And then it's a 3 on the difficulty. Actually kind of want this to work too. Jesus, I'm blowing through all my persona already. That's not good. But I kind of want it to work. Come on. You see?
Double
Fuck.
ones.
Shit. Ah, it was such a good idea. And I burned persona and everything for it.
So the obstacle is the tax roll for the first one as well.
Yes, right.
Yeah. So obstacle
we always forget those.
3, fort.
But bear with me 1 second.
Yeah.
We need 2 of those, right?
Yeah, 2 now at this point.
That's a good.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm glad I dumped into my fort a lot. Obstacle 3 again, yeah?
Yeah.
Ah!
Okay, well, that is only one.
Well, I got a 6 in there, though.
There is a 6 there, yeah.
Can I re-roll?
Yep.
For the love of God, not the sword.
Yeah, well, that only taxes your fort by 1, so you can put 1 in the exhaustion box under the fort.
That could be worse.
Yeah, it could be like this. We've seen this with John, where I think, John, you probably tanked your entire fort on 1 spell once during
that is entirely correct.
Which that's not ideal.
Not ideal. No,
it wasn't even a good spell.
No, yeah. So give me a D6 roll, Mr. Drury, please. This is for the. Let's see what happens with the spell.
Isn't there a button I can just hit for that in here somewhere?
It's on the standard array on the left if you want just baseline dice to click. The bar on the left side of Roll20.
Oh yeah. 6.
Harmless dissipation. Okay. So, well,
I mean, it's not good for me because it doesn't do what I want. But
no, I guess
it
could
be worse.
The thing is, we probably needed like several fail states here because of the way that this is layered. So your thing doesn't go off, so you don't blast yourself with the rocket jump. However, I think it fizzles, and then there's there's a point where you're like, well, shit. that was my that's gonna
be my cool trick.
I was gonna go away, now I'm not. And
I guess we're running.
Adelstan, the situation is, Adelstan, strides forward, big leaps now of strides because he's grown significantly.
This seems familiar.
The robe is in tatters now from his enlarged body, as well as the damage sustained. Grabs you, and there's a moment where it's like the support beam is coming to the head, and he sort of there's a flash in the eyes. The support beam drops, and he just like reaches over with a now clawed hand, and just like drags a sharp claw like just straight down your forehead and nose, and just growls in your face, like barely human sounding voice at this point. It's like, get the ground, and then like drops you and it's like claws his own face very rapidly for like 5 seconds, and then
Well, that could have been worse. That's going to be a problem, though. and I'll pick myself up and do a quick one of these around, make sure I'm not being followed.
You see in the distance, back the way you came, at the far end of the street, there's a robed figure spinning a sensor.
That's going to be a problem too. But at this point, I just want to get to safety, report in, and come up with a plan, because I think things just went from domestic squabble to possibly world-ending events happening in our city.
Notably, you see that there's a family sleeping inside the building that you blasted him into. They're fast asleep. They're content. Sleeping quietly.
As I walk away down towards back towards the tower, I pull out my little book, my hands sort of like just shaking a little bit from the adrenaline wearing off, and I'm just going to make a note of the street, the house, and roughly what the damages were. Get back to them later on.
Yep.
So not their fault.
Above your wall.
Yeah, not their fault. My now zombified brother showed up, and I had to throw him through a wall twice. So we'll take care of that. We'll take care of that on the back end. Yeah.
Yeah. we'll get someone over. Like
I know a masonry guy. He's great. Loves walls. It's good. Yep. Great.
I got a wall guy. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. We had a siege not too long ago. There's plenty of wall guys floating around. All right. Yeah,
But yeah, so you lope off, making a sketch of this, and putting down your notes about what just happened.
Yeah, I will be writing down details as well of everything, the way he looked, the description, because because I definitely will when I get back. I know for a fact from the reports we've received as Dark Watchers that Cameron has encountered these creatures. That there was an army that went sent north, and I didn't know that Alistane was a part of that. Although, as I kind of walk in hindsight, probably should have realized that they would have sent the High Inquisitor to cleanse the heretics or whatever. But in my lust for this confrontation, I think perhaps I didn't dot my I's and cross my T's as well as I could have. So I'm going to have to report back in, get that cleaned up, go from there.
So going forward, it doesn't heal well. Like in the coming weeks, like it stays there. Like the skin somehow more pale. It's kind of, I guess, like a traditional scar would be, in that the what do you call it?
Scar tissue.
Yeah, the tissue. Yeah. So the tissue that forms there is a notably different color than the usual skin. So it's a very pale scar now in the coming weeks, when it all heals up, unless you specifically want to go and do shit about that later on.
But, I do. I do.
But yeah,
it's going on the list.
Yeah, it's like, there's things to take care of. Okay, so speaking of things to take care of, do in the immediate aftermath, we don't hear about Adelstan. There is no there's no criers going about in the following days of giant man butchers entire households for fun. That doesn't happen. It's almost like he was never there to begin with.
Now, I would have immediately informed, of course, Cameron and Ishmael of this. I know Cameron has the experience with these creatures, this situation. So clearly, Wyatt surmises this Flame King's forces are already in Dorothea. They're already in Carameros. They might not be in numbers, but we have a bigger problem now than just worrying about possible assassination attempts from pissed off nobles. This is sort of escalating kind of quickly now. And I'd like to point out Not entirely my fault. I did not know that he was a cursed, wretched monster man now.
It happens.
Happens.
When the enemy is like it is, it does happen sometimes.
So, but I would, off the back of that, begin to forcefully insist on more experiments into the true crown. Seeing, I mean, just, trying to convince maybe Cameron to just put it on his head, see what happens, because
Wait, so just obviously
enemy at the gates kind of thing here.
Your pitch is to come up to me, come to Cameron and tell him that you encountered your brother who turned into a giant, crazy demon thing.
Yes.
After the crown, and your is to tell him that putting on the crown is a good idea.
Yes, because all our intelligence reports regarding the Flame King and his crown tells me that we need a crown. We need to match crowns. We need to go WMD style now, okay?
Crowns with crowns.
They got nukes. We got nukes. We need to deploy our nukes. Or at least know that our nukes work. Because we don't even know if our nukes work right now. You can put this thing on, and it does nothing, and then we're fucked. That's the pitch. Maybe in a little bit more eloquent lead than that, but yeah.
Cameron would inform you that some bells cannot be unrung.
Well, Wyatt would offer to volunteer. He'll put the damn thing on. I mean,
You haven't got the strength, man.
You don't know that.
See, if you're worried,
you don't know anything about it. That's the problem.
If you're worried that the crown's gonna like corrupt someone like magically or something, if you're that worried about it, Ishmael will put it on, because I'm already pretty messed up. I don't have any real magical powers for it to corrupt. So if I put it on and it's suddenly like, oh, I've corrupted all your magic, I'm like, what magic? I'm still just a dude with armor and a sword. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, let's say
establish that.
Yeah, let's say worst case scenario. Let's say you put it on, you turn into some like Hulk-like monster, like Wyatt's brother, and you go a bit mental. If you guys do it, you're going to be doing that with like all your like wicked magics that you control, and it's going to be quite dangerous. To be fair, I'm quite dangerous with a sword, but if I put it on and I go all like evil Hulk style, I'm pretty confident that you two, with all of your magics, can like restrain me long enough to get that off my head.
If we could do it, there's many media references, and I can think of no names at this time, but we could do that thing where it's like, put me in the cellar, put me in chains, and then
I was going to just put him in a magic circle, even like just we would put him.
Because let's face it, if I take all my armor off, I put all my weapons out of the way, then I'm just like a sort of syphilitic, leprous-ridden dude in like dirty robes, with like none of my sword skills or anything accessible to me because I've got no weapons. You put the crown on me. They say chain me up or tie me up or whatever you want to do to like put me in a circle, whatever you want to do to secure it. Obviously, if I put it on, nothing goes wrong. Happy days. I can then take it off and be like, there you go, there's the crown. Because obviously, I have no interest in being like a king myself.
To destroy you, man.
But for once, and this might seem shocking to you, you will find that my character Ishmael actually agrees with Wyatt on this, because we know that this false king, this flame king with his false crown, is obviously coming for us. We know that his crown, even though it's not the real one, because you've like described like the magic that went into it, is pretty dang powerful. And if we're going to stand against that, we need something at least approaching the levels of that power, preferably beyond it. So the sooner we can get a handle on what this crown does, and the sooner you can start working out whether we can use it, the better. Because if we wait till the last minute, you pop the crown on and we suddenly find out it does nothing, or it curses you, then we're done. Whereas if we put it on now when we've got plenty of time in advance, you can maybe start unraveling like how to use the power. Whereas obviously the Flame King has had like enough time to like work out his power, and he's gonna have like a horde of like flame worshipping like zombie Hulks with him.
Yeah, I put a zombie Hulk through a building twice. It barely dented it. All right, so like
Yeah,
you know.
Wyatt's literally just been like, oh, I've wind blasted you into a building. You've got like part of the building structure sticking out of your side, and it's like, yeah, but I'm still going to get in your grill and like ask you for the crown. So like, and we know that a large force of like the Order of the Flame went north, so we can assume they've all been like converted by like his mystical mojo. So when they all come rumbling back, if they're of similar sort of like Hulk smash status to Adelstan,
Yeah, we're
then
fine.
yeah, we're going to need someone to stand again. And don't get me wrong, yeah, okay, we've got some people on board, like some warriors and whatever, like Raphael's men and all that. That's all good, and they are good, loyal warriors. But they are just like skilled human warriors. They're not like supernaturally tanked up like Hulk figures. So
Point
And
out
also-
a lot of good ideas.
Point of order, I
Even
also
so,
feel like
I-
this would be a good opportunity for Wyatt to research and develop that aura reading thing, because like obviously we want to learn the properties of this crown. I have the spell for it, but I didn't pick up the damn skill because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
So this is a good opportunity to do that. So
Yeah.
it
So
all
we'll
flows.
yeah we'll mark that down as a thing going forward. But Cameron, you were saying?
They're putting a lot of good points down, but I'm trying to hold out for information. That's what my hope is, that I can understand it before I
see now,
Learn by doing. Learn by doing.
see now, I can understand your hesitancy. It's a big step, of course, but we don't know how long we have to wait for this information. Now, if we'd had no sign of like the Flames King's goons turning up, I'd be like, yeah, we've probably got ages, don't worry about it. But the fact that like one of them's just rocked up and is like, oh, I've heard that crown's here, yo, give it to me, tends to make me think that like they probably know the crown's here, or they at least suspect, and
no.
he's probably not the only collection agent that's been sent out. So
I've been stabbed at least once recently.
exactly.
To be
So
fair, I did directly tell him that it was here, so like
the thing is that like assuming that he's
they know.
assuming that he's been, well, we know he's been mind controlled by the Flame King, but we don't know whether like the Flame King can see through his eyes, hear through his ears. He might already know all of this, or it's definitely going to get passed back some route. So like time is like a rapidly diminishing luxury for us. So whatever we're going to do, we need to do it sooner rather than later. And I agree, in an ideal world, we'd wait for Wraithwind to rock up, tell us all about the crown, and we'd get all the lowdown.
She's gonna be here any day now.
See,
Any
we
day
don't know that though, and we honestly don't know how much time we have. I mean, we could still be sat around waiting for Wraithwind when like the zombie Flame Hulk army like rocks up and starts hammering on the gates of the city, shouting for the crown, and then we're stuffed.
Yeah. I mean, Wyatt would be reaffirming all that and also going.
Like how one demon monster thing turns up, and now everyone's aware of the thing Cameron's been saying. By the way, guys, shit's coming.
We're not prepared for it. We've only begun.
I'm trying.
We've
man.
only begun to put the pieces together, and we don't know the most powerful tool we have. We don't even know if it is a powerful tool.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, previously when you've been sort of saying like, oh, things are coming. Obviously, we've no reason to doubt you, but it's always been very nebulous. Like they're coming at
I mean, it's here
some
now.
point in the future. Whereas now we know like the time is now. So we need to like, if we can use that crown to provide a meaningful opposition to them, we need to know that for sure. And if there's some sort of method involved in its use or some sort of power or ability that needs to be mastered, it needs to be mastered sooner rather than later. Because ideally, by the time they rock up, we want you to have like fully worked out all the powers of the crown, but be stood there like a good version of Sauron with like your mace of holy smiting and be like, oh, what do you got, Flame King? Rather than sort of like us like whapping the crown on your last minute and suddenly being like, oh, I don't know how
We
it
do
works.
not want to get caught with
Oh.
our pants down, essentially.
I'm a quick learner. Actually, looking at my character sheet, I can't make that claim. Well,
But as I say, if you want to test it on someone who's going to be like easy to incapacitate if they go on like evil side, just whap it on me. It's fine. Because you know I have no interest in being like the king. So it's not like I'm going to wear it and be like,
remember that.
oh, it's mine now.
it might kill you though.
I tell you what, it might kill me, but I tell you one thing I know about like the armies of the Flame King, they're definitely going to kill me if we don't have something to oppose them with. That's all I'm saying. I'd rather take the chance and be like, yeah, okay, it might be dangerous to me, but like on the other side, we might get a useful weapon against the Flame King, or we sort of face them with what we've got now, which is like a
shit.
ragtag force of fuck all at best, and we get steamrolled.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, we'd go down like bosses, like fighting our best, but we would go down sooner rather than later because he's got all the mind controlled minions.
Sooner.
Yeah,
Sooner. Definitely sooner.
Yeah, he's got the mind control minions. He's got whatever sorcerers and like spellcasters the flame sent against him now working for him.
That would be so useful.
He's got all those inquisitors and whatever, all the powers of the flame that, if you remember originally, we were like,
going on a recruitment drive. We ain't got no
they
money,
all work
and
for him now.
We ain't got no land, but we've got a future for you.
Yeah, and also as well, like we've managed to marshal what little forces we've got, basically through like sheer persuasive ability and like
the chutzpah, bro.
Yeah,
chutzpah.
Yeah, just through like sheer brass testes we've like got what we've got at the minute. But if we're going to expand beyond that, we need something to like rally people to. And if you can like rock up with like the crown on and be like, behold your true king, and like display some of that kingly majesty, that'll make it a lot easier to get people on board. And we are going. Now I understand that, Cameron, you don't want to start a war until it's necessary, but like the first shot's just been fired. Sooner or later, we're going to have to get into a conflict, and it's going to go bad for everyone.
Now,
yeah,
and we need to be prepared.
Yeah, the more prepared we are, the less lives are going to be needlessly cast away. I mean, we're going to lose people, that's unavoidable, but if we're not prepared, we're going to lose a hell of a lot more people. I learned this in the Crusades.
I learned this in a siege.
Back in the days when I still had faith.
What does the king command?
At the end of the day, Cameron, it's your decision.
He's making a lot of sense. He is making a lot of sense.
Well, you are the king. It is your final decision.
Very dangerous, though, to play with powers you don't understand.
But we need to understand.
Which is what I do all the time.
It's dangerous, but in this situation, necessary. And as Wyatt says, the more you can understand it by the time we have to use it, the better. And by avoiding it or delaying the inevitable, you are not going to gain understanding of it.
Okay. We will conduct a test with Ishmael. And we'll see if we can gain some information from it.
Very well. So I presume for the test we're going for the whole, like, I'll take my armour off, put my weapons away.
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada. Wrap a chain round me, stick me in a circle, whatever you want to do.
I'm actually going to go even further than that. I'm going to put you in the circle.
Cut your legs off.
No, I'm going to put you in the circle room that I've been building.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to at least have is it the fortress one activated? The one that can hold spirits?
Prison.
I'm going to put you in there just on the off chance that thing has some kind of spirit imbued into it.
Well, as we know, Ishmael knows very little about magic other than what he's seen you guys do. So if you guys say to him, like, oh, we need you to do this, this, and this because we're doing magical defences, I'll be like, yeah, you guys know what you're talking about. I don't. Like, I utterly defer to you two when it comes to like magic and stuff like that.
Okay, so yeah, let me know, Cameron, what's going down.
I'm going to make sure that nobody's around at this time.
Where are we doing this, by the way?
It'll be in the Dark Watch's hold.
Yeah,
this is the tower. Yeah, the tower. Yeah.
No, I'll retrieve the crown from its undisclosed location. I didn't want to carry it around with me all the time because that's also kind of a bit silly. I've never described the crown actually. I've never actually said what it looks like.
No.
Do you want me to define it? Or do you have a...
Do you have ideas for this that we could use?
I do, yeah.
Let's hear about that.
So the crown was forged in a time that we don't remember. But we do know a little bit about it because it ended up in Dulciriath. So the crown is a representation of the best elements of humanity at the time it was forging. So it has a 5-pointed like kind of curve as the 5 spokes of the crown, and each just like a wheel almost. And each of those is representative of is Dulciriath. And it is said if you can look upon the crown and for more than just a brief moment, like, and it's rather than just having a reflection, you can actually see just like almost like looking in a mirror, just the barest fragment of the cities of that time. It's like frozen in memory. So the only one we can identify is Dulciria from looking at it because we've been there. Well, I've been there, but a much more pristine and vibrant city than what I saw, which was dang shit.
Yeah, not the cursed husk. Right. Yeah. So it is like a brilliant silver piece of work, and it has these I suppose like intricate points along the rim that represent these points of civilization. Yeah.
Yep. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, that sounds good.
Because we are vibing on the great architecture of the civilization.
Yeah. So you've got a room set aside. There's a prison circle. Yep. What's the situation with Ishmael? Is he?
I'm gonna have him naked at the waist.
Nowhere else, just the waist.
No, he's got like his pants or however his sandals, shoes.
Still got them long johns on.
Long johns, yeah. Do I manacle him? No, I don't manacle him, but I do. He's weaponless, and I have Wyatt ready with a spell if it's required. He is there.
Okay.
And I will.
So you've got this prepped.
Yeah, and I will say to him, "Are you sure that you want to do this, Ishmael?"
It's not that I want to do it. I believe it's necessary. As Wyatt said, and I agree, we need to understand what effects the crown are going to have when you wear it, since you seem to be the person that has been chosen to wear it. So if there is harm to be done by the simple wearing of the crown, it is better that we find that out now and on someone who is not yourself. Since if the crown is cursed in some way and it were to incapacitate you, there is very little I could contribute towards unravelling what had occurred. Whereas if it inflicts more than has already been inflicted on myself, then the two of you stand the best chance of understanding what has happened and working out how to go forward and use the crown whilst avoiding its dangers.
Okay. I will say that since I've had this in my possession, I've had some strange experiences with it.
Besides, Cameron, as you know, I have no faith in the gods or any of their ilk, but I just have enough hope left to think that you might actually make a pretty good king.
It's getting very maudlin in here. Shall we proceed with an experiment or not?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Just
Hey, Ishmael.
Wyatt.
I won't let you become a horrible abomination. Don't worry. I got you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm basically going to sit down sort of like cross-legged or whatever in the middle of this prison circle or whatever it is, and basically so that like one of them doesn't have to put the crown on me, and if I immediately go, "Roar," they're not in any danger. Get them to like put it next to me since I'm not manacled, and then I'll just like put it on, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. Unless Cameron's got anything else going on, then
I was just going to say to him as I sort of begin to get ready to place it. Tell us what you think, what you feel, any memories it stirs in you. When I hold this thing, my thoughts are always drawn to Wraithwin. It makes me, it reminds me of her somehow. Maybe something in the makeup.
You do seem rather taken with her, if you'll forgive me for saying so.
Taken is not the right word. It's more professional interest.
I feel it is the right word.
We're losing focus. I also feel my familiar's eyes on me whenever I have it, very intently.
So
comfortably.
As Cameron's, putting on the crown, it's up to everyone else. If you guys notice, Cameron doesn't. Cameron's shadow is looking from the floor. With two sort of gilded fox eyes. Like Cameron's shadow, where the eyes would be on the shadow, there are actual non-shadow fox eyes.
I think
looking up.
I think I've probably not noticed because I'm sat there sort of eyes closed, like doing like breathing exercises to like keep myself calm.
Not to interrupt our grand experiment, but is your shadow supposed to do that? Is that normal? That doesn't seem normal.
We're testing out
the eyes.
Wyatt, we're testing out a magical and possibly cursed crown. I think normal is relative.
I
sort of turned to look at Wyatt as I'm just like inches from Ishmael's head. This is what I told you before. Some belts cannot be unrung. And
put it
You're
on.
a strange man.
It's now on his bounce.
Yeah.
His
So,
buttons.
Ishmael.
Dark Ishmael, king of the dead.
All hail Ishmael.
And you would place in their place a leprous king, more rancid and putrid than a plague cart. All shall smell me and despair.
So,
man.
It feels cool, as in cold, on your head, and nothing happens for a bit.
So yeah, literally as soon as it goes on, I'm going to start talking sort of constantly in like a calm voice so they can like register any change that's happened. So I'll be like repeating like, oh, it feels cold on my head. I've not noticed any effect yet. And I'll just keep sort of talking on continuously. So if I suddenly like go or whatever, they'll know something's gone wrong.
So you start hearing some distant, you think melody, but it's far too distant for you to even pick it up properly. You just think it's maybe music at this point.
So yeah, so you guys will probably hear when I'm like, I'll be saying like, can either of you hear that sound? And I'll be trying to sort of like, replicating it.
No, but I'm trying to get a sense of things.
Okay, yeah.
It takes concentration, so.
And I also lower my voice, so I'm hopefully not disturbing him, but like mainly directing my speech at Cameron. But yes, I can hear this distant tune. I can't quite put my finger on it. It sounds like I'll be trying to replicate it.
And it's now more cold, noticeably so. So something's happening with the crown, and there's a sort of sheen going over everything now, as if everything's becoming covered in silver, and it's sort of everything's sort of becoming blanked out via being just everything disappears into silver in the matter of a couple of minutes.
So is that just from my point of view, or?
Yes, just for you,
So everything's faded out into like this field of like silver.
Yeah, everything's so like or like first off, it's as if everything in the world had their textures swapped,
Yeah.
and then the sort of like distance and features become sort of flattened into just silver.
So I'll be describing that to like Cameron and Wyatt as it's happening. Anything that happens to me, obviously, I'll be describing so you guys are aware of it. And then so like when everything's faded, I'll be like, I can't see you anymore. All I can see is this shifting field of silver in front of my vision. The crown feels colder now.
Fascinating. So can you attempt to reach out with your thoughts, your will, towards the crown? Can you get a sense of any
I don't know how
power
to do that.
within it? Well, just think about the crown in your mind's eye,
Okay.
and imagine yourself reaching towards it as if you were actually trying to physically grasp it.
I think this will
See if
probably
you can sense a presence there.
this will probably be quite an alien sort of concept to Ishmael because he's used to being like, he's used to being a soldier. You try not to think about things overly much unless it's tactics. You're more sort of like physical, but he'll try and do what Wyatt says, assuming I can still hear them.
Yeah.
I'll try and do this thing where I'll just try and like imagine what the crown looks like, and I'll sort of like I'll try and imagine myself like reaching out towards it in the way Wyatt's describing.
Yeah, so you're sort of projecting your thoughts at the crown, and let's make a roll here. So,
and I've activated my mage sense, FYI, and
yeah,
I'll try to get a read on it if you let me. But
yeah, the thing is, the accursed thing is, you need.
Don't use the word "curse," please,
with
while we're looking
your
at this
aura
crowd.
reading.
Well, I do have a sorcerer standing right next to me. Does he have aura reading?
Yep. Cameron, what's up? No.
No aura reading. No.
Jesus, we both did that. Oh
Look,
my god!
I may be a king, but I never said I was competent. Okay.
Right. Well, at the very least, if anything spikes or anything weird happens, I can use perception to do that. Then that's fine.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's fine.
It's fine. Whatever you say.
What would you like me to roll?
Yeah. So. So what's going on is you're reaching out to the crown, and the crown is going to reach back now. And to deal with that, I would say a will roll.
Oh boy.
Just as a baseline.
Okay. Are we doing this as like an opposed roll, is it?
Just the obstacle one.
Best believe I'm sticking a persona into those.
So this is for you to handle the situation.
Look at that.
There we go. So you reach out. Ishmael doesn't have the vocabulary for it, but something's going on. You can feel your thoughts melding into something, and it's you reflexively want to turn away from something that you can't even see, but there's sort of like instinctive like whoa sort of reaction, as if someone had set off a magnesium flare in front of your face. There's like what is this?
So I imagine, like, because you say, like, as you rightly say, Ishmael doesn't have the vocabulary for this. I'll be sort of like, my voice will sound like a bit like spaced out, or like a bit sort of like far away, as I'm sort of like, I'll just be like, oh, there's something strange happening. I don't really know how to describe it.
Don't shy away from it. Let it happen.
I'll try and do as Wyatt says. I'm not.
Yeah, and you do, and
do not panic. Focus your mind.
There's a bit of
keep your focus.
There's a like a brief moment of like, wait, did I actually do the thing? Because you project your thought out again, and this time you don't, you know to watch out for the whatever that is
Yeah.
happens. But then you're triumphant. You reach out, you don't flinch, but the triumph is short-lived because there's a sort of very quickly down from the crown through your head into the rest of your body and nervous system, slowly but quite quickly increasing sort of like cold burn pain, just like very quickly, as if someone had maybe poured some water on your head. With the quickness of the falling water, the sort of like cold freezing burn throughout your entire body just like washes down from the crown through your head and the rest of your body, and it feels awful.
I'm going to try and sort of like keep it together because I'm probably quite used to like my body feeling generally awful.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll probably let out like a grunt of like discomfort and then like pain, and I'll describe to you as I'll be like, something's happening. I feel like I'm cold and yet I'm burning. I don't really know how to
Is it
describe
painful?
it.
I think-
It's painful, but not intolerable.
I think perhaps maybe that is a good first successful test, Cameron. I think perhaps maybe we remove the crown if we can.
What does
Okay.
the king say?
Um,
Ishmael,
One
it is
more thing.
increasing in intensity as you hear them talk.
Yeah, I'll just be
It's
saying
becoming
to
more
them,
of a cold burn.
attempt to see if you can speak to the crown. If you
how
can
do
actually
I do
communicate with it,
that?
like it's think a greeting to it as if you're addressing it.
Okay, so in which case, in my head, I'm going to think something like greetings and salutations, first crown of the human king, honored first crown of the human kingdoms.
The thinking starts to become very difficult towards the end of your sentences, because the pain is starting to overwhelm your ability to actually think.
Cameron,
Yeah, I'll be like,
Yes,
it's getting
I'll-
difficult to think.
I'll remove it
Yep. So you lift it off.
if I can.
Yeah. No, you lift the crown off, and the cold burn sort of like sweeps up and away from your body, Ishmael, and you are left, however, with like what is basically snow blindness. You can see nothing but white and shades of silver, even though the crown is off your head.
Ishmael, how do you feel now?
Okay, so I'll be sort of like looking around, and I'll say, the pain appears to have receded, but when I said I couldn't see you, my vision has not returned, and you'll see I'm sort of like I'm looking around, but like my eyes aren't.
I
focused
will
on
take his. I will take his by the hand. I'll wrap an arm around his. I'll guide him to a chair.
Thank you.
Pour him a glass of water. The whole
Thank you.
nine. Well, I would say, gentlemen, that was a very, very successful first test. Difficult to glean much from it beyond that there are dangers, or perhaps to the improperly trained, or to be using said item. My suggestion would be for us to have another subject. Perhaps someone trained in the arts.
Yes, there's definitely a presence or a power of some kind in the crown, but as you've said, I am not trained for such matters.
Again, I volunteer my body as tribute to the cause and all.
Indeed, I think
I'll be in the prison circle. I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
I think
I appraise you for a moment. I'm just looking at you.
I think with respect, Cameron, this is, although as I say, I believe you may be a good king, I think this is one thing you do not yet understand about the position of being a king. You will inevitably at some point have to ask those loyal to you to place their lives on the line with only your word to say it is the right thing. If you are squeamish about the two of us potentially doing that now, it is something you will need to become accustomed to, because that will occur with more and more frequency when you take on the mantle of a true king.
I have lost people in my game.
And it does you credit that you have come so far, and yet you still have your sense of wanting to preserve life. But at some point, a king must set their personal feelings aside, because they know that having people potentially sacrifice themselves for the greater good is the right thing to do. You should get used to that as best you can now.
Some must be sacrificed if all are to be saved.
True.
But I don't intend on doing any sacrificing, simply experiment. So I'm going to walk over into the circle. I'll make sure that my accoutrements are put to the side and on a table. I'm just in my, coat and my clothes now. Yeah.
Ishmael, are you okay? You don't seem to be moving very natural.
My vision is still not returned.
Well, it was quite painful, he's described, and he can't see at the moment.
Are you blind?
For the moment. Cameron, before Wyatt undertakes his test, help me into my armor, so that if something does happen, I'm at least slightly protected. I would put it on myself.
That's a great idea.
I would put it on myself.
I can get stabbed still, presumably. Although it'd be very interesting to see if we can stab a king bearer. Maybe that should be a part of our later. Pull out my notebook and I'm going to write some notes while they're donning the armor.
I help Ishmael into
stab
his armor.
Yeah.
Viciously.
I examine him as well to see if anything seems different about him. Like any other change apart from
not physically, no.
Spiritually, he's fucked, but physically, he's okay. Okay.
I don't believe in any of that spiritualism bullshit.
Now, Ishmael, now why you were never a student of mine at the tower.
That is true.
But if you would indulge my advice at this moment.
Of course, since as I've said, I've placed my faith, such as it is, in you as a king.
I'm directing it at Wyatt.
Sorry, I couldn't see that you were facing Wyatt. My apologies.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Ishmael. I get that all the time. Yeah. We look so similar.
For your sake, I hope not.
I have noticed in your use of the arcane arts, you are a little more reckless than most.
Reckless.
I do not judge you in this. It is your talent. However, I urge caution in this moment.
We are experimenting. Of course, we're going to be cautious. Honestly, where did you train?
At the tower?
Yes,
as a ground
exactly.
summoner?
Yes. Well, did you train there before?
During, actually.
Well, then yes.
I stayed there even after I left.
Discussions for later. Crown, please.
I shall place the crown on his head and again step back
Now,
to observe.
I do still have my mage sense on, so if that helps at all or it triggers anything, let me know.
So, right.
I will, of course, attempt to.
Yeah, we sort of probably replicate the sort of steps that we
same
had before.
steps.
Yeah.
Let them go from there.
Yeah, let me get a will roll.
Fantastico.
As well.
Difficulty?
It's just up one.
Okay. Wrong
Which
button.
probably means it's a contest. Oh boy.
Possibly, yeah. He's being coy about it. 4 with 2 6s.
It is very much like Ishmael described. There's something, like Ishmael said, he didn't really know if it was something or someone or a creature of any description, but there's something there for you to reach towards, much like Ishmael described. And you managed to work your way past the the brilliance, the blinding essence of it. Your world has been washed out entirely in flat silver by this point as well,
Fascinating.
and
Truly.
there's something that you feel to recoil from, but you can turn towards it, and you start feeling the same symptoms as Ishmael described, where it feels cold, and then there comes the sort of like flushing of like freeze burn throughout your body.
I would like to try to endure it and try to push forward.
Right, okay.
I would say attempt to reach out with perhaps the power itself, the arcane.
Let's go with the endurance part is the key here. I feel
Sure.
like, so it sounds like a fort thing.
Yeah, and I'm
And this
kind of
is
beat up
the-
right now on that, but
Yeah. Let me get my thing. No. Fuck.
I'll throw in my last little.
Right. So this is an obstacle 6.
All right. Yep. I'm throwing in my last persona point just for the hell of it. Ugh.
Two
Oh,
sixes,
two
no?
sixes in there though. I reroll 1 fate point for both of the 6s.
Yep, that is correct.
Right. Oh.
Look at you. So
Whoa!
All right.
So
Don't forget that sweet XP.
it is
Yeah.
it is excruciating.
Oh.
It feels like your
Very
nervous
painful.
system is
Ah.
burning from the inside out, like throughout your body. So at this point, you endure it, but I do think that it's starting to show real bad, that it is terrible for Wyatt at this point. So for Cameron, you can probably, tell that Wyatt is having a very bad time right now.
No, wait, no, I gotta hack it.
And you can see, Cameron, there's like wisps of, it's not really smoke. You don't think, it doesn't act like smoke. But there's like this pale sort of something wafting off the crown.
Like
Ishmael?
coldness, like absolute.
Now, obviously, he's got this pain going through his whole body. Now, as we know, given my character, like leprosy, which affects all your nerve endings and stuff like that, and can cause like either no pain or great pain. We know I'm a herbalist. I've got my herbalist kit and whatever. I imagine I'm no stranger to like generic like pain remedies, effectively. So what I'm going to try and do is, because obviously Cameron's helped me back into my gear, I'm going to try and, because roughly I know where the chair, where he's sat, because I was there a few minutes ago. I'm going to try and get like whatever like generic like pain relieving poultice or like herbal tonic out of my my herbalism kit, probably like one I use myself to like manage my own pain. And then I'm basically just gonna sort of assuming that like Wyatt probably can't see, like I couldn't when he put the crown on. So I don't know what he's doing. I can't see. So I'm staring like, I'm gonna sort of hold out like the bottle with like the tonic to towards where I think Cameron is, like where I last heard his voice come from. And I say, Cameron, give Wyatt this. It's a tonic that I used to help dull the pain. It's a tonic that I help to dull my own pain. Give him this.
It. And I'll apply it.
Okay, so we're talking about a tonic. So Wyatt, I guess
I'll
someone's
just
trying to give you something.
Can you hear voices? Can you hear the music that Ishmael mentioned?
Yes, in fact, through the excruciating pain, and it starts to sort of meld together. So you start to make out there is a melody, and the more you make it out, the more it seems to rack your body. So whenever you, I think that maybe I can grasp that shape of a note.
It's
And
the lyrics.
when you start to make the note out, it's like someone sticking a white hot metal rod through your forehead into your brain.
What I would like to try to do is, now that I'm sort of vaguely connected to it, do I get a sense of power from it?
Yes. There is it feels like you are exposed to something rather what's the word for it? There's something rather numinous about all this. You don't quite have an idea of whatever this is, but it feels more profound than all the ceremonies you ever went to as a kid when you were still impressionable, and people could tell you that, the covenant of the first flame, like we have direct line to, the spirit realm. Here's the miracles. This feels like the real thing. That wasn't the real thing. This feels like the straight juice from heaven. But you there's the side note of like, I'm in danger.
Yeah, but this is for the game, right? This is the whole kit and caboodle here. This is the show, right? I mean, so Wyatt is not going to shy away. He would like to attempt to grasp the power gently. If obviously he's learned how to master the arcane, this flows of energy throughout the world itself. This probably is very similar. So gently, trickling.
Wyatt, I'm going to say, because I can still hear you. Like,
yes.
I'm going to say,
yes. I'm busy.
Yes. I've felt it myself. Quickly, if I were to place my hand on the crown while you were wearing it, do you think I could help split this pain between the two of us so you would have less to deal with?
Let's not break my current concentration. I'll let you know in just a second.
Cameron, guide me over to where the crown is and put my outstretched hand just slightly above it. Then if Wyatt gives me the nod, I will grab hold of it.
Very well.
Yep. So you do, and Wyatt, you're sort of again reaching out.
I want to kind of just with my will.
Yeah. So with your sort of inner self, your spirit, really, you reach out and you basically instantly sort of lose sensation, like very rapidly, as you push through the excruciating pain. Everything starts going numb. You don't feel a lot at all anymore. Cameron, you can see Wyatt's skin start to flake off and float upwards a little bit around the head. So there's like little pieces leaving sort of like pale pink.
Whatever you're gonna do it quickly, because you can't handle much more of this.
And the wisps are starting to whip about the head as if like an extra layer of hair. And there's a light shining out of his eyes now.
Right. To be honest, the instant Cameron's like, "Oh, you can't have much more of this," I'm gonna put my hand on the crown, because that's all I can think of to do to try and help him out. Because I'm imagining like the worst thing in the world happening when like Cameron's like, "Oh my god, you can't handle it." I'm like, "Oh, like his legs have just spontaneously combusted or some shit," because I can't see what's going on.
Yeah, and to be clear, Ishmael, you felt nothing. Like it doesn't seem to do like it doesn't share the whatever this is with you. when you put
Just
your
a
hand on it.
moment more, please.
I'll
Yeah,
take
and
my hand
it
off.
comes out as a kind of like because the spirit is strong, but the flesh is not simply not capable. This is why we didn't roll for that, because it's
I'm
not
gonna
something
take
is
it.
needed
I'm gonna
that
take it off him.
we
I'm
don't
gonna
have here. Yeah. So if you do lift it off, the feeling doesn't return, Wyatt. Neither does your sight. There's when you lift off the crown, there's like the skin is sort of like, I don't know, like dried and dropped off around the head.
So, in my attempts to work and meld with the crown, did I get that definitive sense though that we are missing a key component here,
like whatever,
or at least
like,
I'm missing a key component.
Whatever you did, you think there wasn't really a lot more for you to do,
Right.
So either you are missing information or some kind of
condition, basically.
Something more is needed, because you pushed as far as you could go, and at the end, you reached the threshold where basically there's only annihilation anymore.
Right.
Some would say you went beyond what you could do.
No,
So
he peeked beyond and concluded, or the flesh concluded, no.
yeah. So what's can I speak?
Yes, but it's I suppose it's like a sensory deprivation tank at this point.
Right,
Like you're
right.
like floating inside your body.
Right.
There's still a faint light shining from his eyes.
I hope I haven't killed him.
Are you all right, Wyatt?
No. Yes. Well, all right is I think my theory. Oh,
Get him some water, Cameron.
I think I'm tasting my insides.
I'll get him some water.
My theory.
My apologies. I would get it myself, but
yes, blind. I know. I can't see a bloody thing. It's almost like a really bright, snowy day on the mountains. Yes.
yes, I've heard of people who've the sunlight reflecting off the snow can cause temporary blindness. Let's hope this is only temporary.
Or like armor
I really
charging
hope
in
so.
a sunny day. All right. I postulate that there's a, shall we say, an ingredient, a component, something missing here. And I think, as we all learned in grade school, that perhaps it has to do with the lines of kings. I am not of the line of the old kings. Neither is Ishmael.
Well,
But
as
you
far
are.
as I know.
I believe, Cameron, if you place the crown on your head with your knowledge and your skills and your bloodline, you should at least be able to replicate as much as I did, if not more.
Can I make the suggestion that perhaps we wait until we've established whether this blindness that we suffer from, Wyatt, is
Oh right, yes, we
should
give it a few days before we attempt that test. Yes,
indeed, because if Cameron tries it now and it renders him also blind, then none of us will be able to see.
Also, currently none of you could remove the crown from me because you cannot see me.
Oh, that's a fair point. How about we take we sleep on it and wake up in the morning and go from there. Oh,
I agree. Yeah.
Do you feel like, Ishmael, like you are disembodied, like you're just floating in an ethereal sea?
You don't. You feel very physical, and it hurts.
I'm not sure what floating in an ethereal sea feels like, but no,
I think I do now.
I feel very physical and very much in a great deal of pain.
You said you heard music?
Yes.
Yes.
Was it of a human voice?
No, it
No-
was
no singing.
Sort of,
No
it was
singing.
sort of like a sort of musical chiming. I heard a thing from an elf lady once that I was familiar with about well, I believe they described it as a celestial chorus. I suppose the best way to describe it would be that, but I don't know what a celestial chorus sounds like. But if it sounded like anything, it would sound like that.
It's hard to take you seriously while you're floundering on the floor.
I'm on the floor. Oh, I thought I was in the air.
Your knees went weak.
I'm not floating.
Alas, I must say, with regards to the strange music, I can only vaguely perceive it. It is clear that Wyatt's senses for such things are far keener than my own. Perhaps that is why I did not experience this floating sensation that he experienced.
I think you went too far.
I went as far as it would allow me.
I'm over here, by the way.
It went as far as it would allow me.
Because I'm moving around the room.
It's just to be an asshole, he moves around.
I said it's missing. I think we just put it on your head and see what happens. Honestly, I think if we did, it will work.
Well, it seems logical that if this is some artifice of magic that was designed to only be worn by like the lineage of the kings, that they would build safety measures into it to stop pretenders from simply seizing it and wearing it themselves.
And I do believe we have Ishmael and I have encountered these measures as much as we can take.
Yes.
Without disintegrating. Is that what I'm feeling? Is that?
I think we should let you rest before we do any more experiments.
That's so.
Yes,
yes.
I think you're right. I mean,
patience.
The next logical step, as Wyatt said, and I agree, is for you to attempt to wear it, Cameron. But that should only be done when we are restored to health, so that if something does go wrong, we can take the crown off you. So I think you're right.
Indeed.
We should sleep on it.
You should just float me over to my bed.
And with that, Cameron, are you going along with this plan? Are you trying it next, or?
Reluctantly, yes. I will attempt to.
So we can jump right to that. So
yeah.
It's going to be a couple of days. Ishmael, your eyesight returns gradually, so that the next day you're good. Wyatt, it takes you 3 days to get back. You're full.
Presumably, my sickness and fatigue. My fatigue has gone away.
Yeah, all that is gone. Yeah. It turns out, it was skin. The crown had started to disintegrate your physical body as well.
I'm covered in like aloe and vera, and like I got like a poultice wrapped around.
Like it's all right. I'll hook you up, Wyatt. Don't worry about it.
Right. Yeah, we worked on it together.
Yeah.
Fix that up.
Okay, so it's like 3 days later. There's a prison circle. Presumably, Cameron's in it now. We've got the crown.
All right. Are you ready?
I wouldn't phrase it in such
okay,
a way.
very good.
Even Ishmael will have to like snicker at that. I was waiting for you to do like on the count of 3, 1.
Yeah. So yes, much the same as they've described. The world sort of like blends together until everything's silver. And please, Cameron, a will roll.
Oh, I have to make a roll. The king must roll.
Do you know who I am?
You know who I am?
Don't you know who I am?
I love the fact 1 minute he's like, I'm not really sure about this king thing. The next minute he's like, you dirty man, King Cameron, roll the dice.
Is it just a difficulty 1 at the moment?
Obstacle 1, yeah.
Okay.
I love the fact every time Yana says it's obstacle 1, in my mind I'm like, it's not obstacle 1.
Okay. Well, I got a success.
Yeah, it's in true Cameron fashion. We almost tanked that.
Oh man, you got less successes than I did.
Right.
Hey, John.
So, much the same. In some unfathomable distance, you start hearing musical notes, but you can't quite grasp them. And there is a numinous power. You're fairly sure there's you don't feel like this is an entity that you're dealing with necessarily, but there's some kind of numinous immense power that you're
There's a force
confronting right
there.
now.
Yeah.
Yes, and you start experiencing the same kinds of things that Wyatt probably has described to you once he's sort of regained his composure a little bit. Um, the way of the progressive effects of things, and the reaching out. You don't quite have time to reach out or like do the mental exercises of like, okay, we're here now. How do I do this? How do I move things from here? Because the music, you can hear parts of it clearly. You will never be able to describe it once we go forward from here.
Yeah.
Cameron will never find the words to describe what this sounded like, but you can start to hear parts of it. And the disintegrating, white light doesn't quite start burning Cameron from the inside out. And the silver is sort of like, there's a patina that washes over it sort of gradually, as if it's being oxidized, like silver does. So it goes like shades darker, and eventually it's sort of like crumbles away like leaf gold, and it's sort of like swept aside in some unseen wind, and you start seeing things again because the world is no longer just a blank silver. You're standing in what is the tower that you stand in. It is different though. The stone is weathered, and everything that is made from wood is no longer there. There's dust everywhere. You can see no one else. You glance up, there's no it seems that you're in the bottom of a sort of I don't know, like a crater shape, where the remnants of the tower are at the bottom where you stand. The city around, ground to ruin, just crumbling sandstone edifices here and there that you can see. And above you, there's a sky that is dark, and from the distance you can hear the thunder rumbling, and on the thunder there's a voice which kind of gives you a cold burn, much like they've described, except it's not the annihilating light, but it is a voice that reaches out from somewhere in the stormy sky in the distance, and it's an echoing voice that just blasts across the landscape. You are the air.
Who addresses me? Who is that? Where am I? When am I?
There is no life here.
Then what am I talking to? A ghost? Ghosts do not impress me. I have spoken to many. What are you?
There's a sort of just rumbling as a response, and the skies open a bit. There's a sky with absolutely no stars up above, no moons either.
Oh, good. Oh, this is going well.
And you can hear there's a sort of like spinning whispers around you. So I can see you now.
I'm gonna try something. I don't know if I can, Wheelmaster. I'm gonna try and think really hard, and try to, I don't know, get the crown to show me what this thing is. Like as if almost if to draw it to not draw it into me, but draw it into a physical thing that I could see.
Into the
just a
light you
voice.
command it, basically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
Into the light I command you.
Cameron Constantine sounds great.
Yeah.
Yep.
That sounds like a will roll once again.
Oh, I did such a great time at that. Is that just difficulty 1 again, or if you say
No.
difficulty 25?
We are past difficulty 1 now.
Okay, what's it going to be?
We're talking about a 4 now.
Oh boy. Okay. Do I get any help and advantages being the king?
No.
No.
The king stands
there you go.
alone.
I'm not going to use persona on this purely because I don't understand what's going on at the moment. Like this is just me experimenting. Any sixes? I do get 6.
There's a 6.
There's a 6. I will spend.
You only need one more 6 to, to bring it home.
Do it.
I'm going to spend a fit. Come on, baby. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So,
It's my first day on the job, guys. Okay.
Yeah. Right enough.
there's
I do get a TV.
there's an idea because it's this is like sensory input to a point, but then there's also a layer of like this is sort of like ideas that you are experiencing, not so much things that you are seeing. But there's the idea of like an all enveloping presence in the starless sky. Now that you're trying to like, come forth, show yourself. The whispers spinning around you seem to reply to your sort of intent as you feel the idea of the presence in the sky. And they say, the time has come and I will take your land and your life, everything.
I don't think so.
Serve me, and I will let you live.
How can one serve something that he does not know?
There's an immense pressure of you being sort of pushed from all sides, sort of like compacted.
It's okay. I've got a crown on. It's fine.
Yeah, and
I've got my get out of jail free card.
Yeah, I've got my safety crown. There is like for a moment there's this like there's a crush But you do realize that like something's holding it off a little
Yeah.
bit. Whatever is happening to you, you feel like maybe the crown's helping.
If only I knew how to use it.
Yeah.
Whatever you
What
are.
do you do? You stand here in the remnant of your
Yeah.
ruined tower in the middle of this ruined city. Something is everywhere,
Yeah.
and it is
It's
trying to
kind.
crush you now.
I get kind of amused because I just kind of like I hunch down for a second,
hmm
and then I sort of stand up straight. And I'm like, "You are strong, whatever you are, and yet I stand."
Many have. All have fallen.
You're gonna have to do more than that to oppress me, whatever you are. I've spoken to literal gods.
There's a booming chuckle and just like lightning blasting down from the sky.
Can I actually see any?
You
I see a
will
form.
cease to hear the melody. I will cast it down with the rest. Then you will be alone, and your stolen light will not help you.
From my understanding, it was gifted, not stolen. What claim do you have to it?
There's just rumbling of the storm in the distance.
Do I get any sense of time or place or anything?
No, it feels like you're shunted to the side from everything.
Is my familiar with me?
No.
Interesting. Interesting. Do I still feel pain?
No,
Oh, any
you,
kind of
you
sensation?
never truly, in retrospect, you never did.
Quick question, Johannes. What can we see going on?
That's what I was about to ask. What can they see?
You can hear him talk these things. You can hear one half of the conversation. There's no visual effects going on. He doesn't seem to be in over discomfort or anything.
Okay, so I'm gonna put my face next to his ear, in like a very quiet voice. I'm just gonna say, Cameron, if you can hear me, nod your head once.
Do I get anything?
Yeah, there's a voice on the wind, Ishmael, saying these things.
And if he nods his head, I'm basically gonna take hold of his hand, and I'm just gonna say, like, because obviously we can hear his side of the conversation, and I'm gonna say, both myself and Wyatt are here with you. If at any point you need us to remove the crown, squeeze my hand, and we will do. Otherwise, know that whatever is happening at the minute, I don't claim to understand it, but we are both here.
Understood.
He seems to be communing with something.
I think my ancestor can sense me.
Your ancestor?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Are you sure that's what it is?
After all, it could be the Flame King.
That I do believe that's what he's referring to.
Correct.
But Cameron, are you sure it's not the darkness?
That's possible.
Recall the darkness is only constrained by the power of the crowns.
Indeed, and if what
Stumble around, children, carrying things meant never for your hands.
just remember, Cameron, if this thing could truly reach out and snuff you out with as little effort as it seems to be claiming, it would have done so. The fact that it has not tells us a great deal.
Cameron, can you attempt to come back to yourself?
I do not know. From when you both, and I kind of like pat them, one of them, like, when you lost your sight, you saw nothing.
Yes, as I said, I felt that there was a missing component. Clearly, you have achieved that state upon which we are seeking. But now you need to take control and come back to yourself.
Cameron, you notice there's a rotting corpse of Wyatt next to you speaking these things. And with a quick, glance to the side, Ishmael's there as well, half
It looks
skull,
the same.
like flesh falling off.
Yeah, I like just as good as I
How
ever
much of a
do.
difference?
There's again this spinning whispers. They will all fall or betray you. There is no other way for flesh.
Whatever this thing is, Cameron, it's obviously worried about you, and it's trying to scare you. All of this talk is just talk.
Cast it away and come back
Actually,
to yourself.
I'm gonna, Wheelmaster, I'm gonna just glance at my shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Is my shadow like?
Your ancestor will not be able to help you when the end comes.
You're gonna have to narrow it down. I've got a big family. Do you speak of the one with the flaming crown? Or the one who has the matching eyes?
Your ancestor of the northern wind will toy with you and then play with your corpse, thinking that the end was of its own making. It too will fall. You
Indeed it will.
are surrounded by liars and betrayers because I have set these things upon the world, and your light cannot extinguish them.
Yet your reach keeps you trapped here. You're not as powerful as you think you are.
So the world crumbles away, and there's now only the dark. You're in a starless night sky. There's no longer a ruined city or the bodies of Wyatt or Ishmael or the storm.
This is the thing. I spend most of my life dealing with spirits, the dead. I'm used to liars, scammers, and I need words. This will not work with me. I am not that kind of man like my ancestor. I'll not be corrupted in the same fashion.
All men are flesh.
But I am not just a man. I am more.
I'm an idea.
I have a concept.
I'm a symbol.
Foxy lady.
Yeah. I bear a curse that marks me as different. I wear it like a badge.
All you have is this stolen light which brings you to me because you are weak. Even weaker still without the light. And when you lose it, there will be nothing. You are and have already failed. And there's just, the silence of the void and the blackness.
If that's true, why can't you take me?
Yeah, you feel the shimmering of whatever immanent power is sort of the thing that brought you here, i.e. the whatever power the crown provides. It feels good in sort of in a weird way, in that it exists where seemingly nothing else does now here in this place. But you do know for a fact that Ishmael and Wyatt, they are,
They are there, but not there.
Yeah.
You speak a lot of tall tales, but I know my history to a point.
All lies.
We didn't steal the light. We share the light. It's in every person. You just can't see it.
I
The
will
crown
be,
just helps us remember. That's all.
I will be watching your every stumble.
Now, take a ticket, man. My fox grandfather's watching everything I do.
And the void, it's hard to perceive it having been gone because it is nothingness, but I suppose you realize the somethingness of what comes next, which this provides a border between whatever this is and what you perceive now, which is the tower and Ishmael and Wyatt. And it feels sort of like you do feel safe now.
But is everything still silvered, or is my normal vision returned?
No, it's you've gone back to from where you started without.
So I've got
lingering.
the crown on.
Yes.
Everything looks normal again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel any pain.
No.
Okay. I'm back. I feel okay. Okay.
I would say that's a successful test.
I was definitely tested.
Indeed, we
Definitely tested.
we could only hear what
Did
you
you
were saying.
see the darkness?
I think I spoke to that darkness. If
Amazing.
such a thing is possible.
Amazing.
I would say you did more than speak to it, Cameron. It attempt from what we heard on your side of the conversation, it attempted to intimidate you and force you to back down, and you didn't do so. You stood up and told it how little it mattered, and that no matter all of its threats, you were still going to try and be the king that we know and hope you can be.
Well, it's not my first time in having to bargain with something I don't understand. But it did throw me off for a second, Ishmael. I forgot to introduce myself as the Dark Watcher. Which is
Probationary member.
I think you've now literally watched the darkness, so
I suppose that's fair. Yeah, we should have to write to headquarters.
I would be interested to know how many other Dark Watchers have actually been in the presence of said darkness.
I don't think any in living memory.
But I suggest now, given that must have been a strain on you, even though thankfully you didn't suffer the same momentary debilities that myself and Wyatt did, I would suggest you rest now, have a think about what has happened. You will need your strength in the days ahead.
I will, and I do feel somewhat spent, but I do want to try one more thing.
You have the power.
It
You
was
are
a
the
notion
king.
of something. My fingers got around it, and God, I think there is something I can command in this. It's like a feeling behind the eyes.
It's the force within the crown. Yes, I sensed it too.
I want to see if I can reach out to someone.
I mean, this is the point of the exercise. See what you are capable of doing upon wearing the crown.
I'm gonna try and reach out to Wraithwind because she's taking a goddamn time.
So yeah, okay.
Wait.
Yeah, he's not going to think for her though.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not a thing at all.
It's not a thing, guys. Queen Wraithwind is just an idea. It's not even a thing.
Let me just use this most potent artifact in the world
To grab her and pull her to me.
No, I'm not going to let you yank her from wherever she is, but I'll see if I can.
Try it. Let's see if you could do it. I mean, we have to test the boundaries.
So
right?
The
what
good
are we
news
doing?
is you got her. The bad news is you only got the top half. The bottom half's still where she is.
Get over here.
So what are we doing?
In my theory, that this thing, the darkness, the Great Christmas #1, yanked me somewhere, like pulled me into some place, right? Like,
showed you
but
a
I
vision,
still
right?
remained here. So
Mhm.
can I then project myself to somewhere else? Can I
Mhm.
actually? So I'm going to think of Wraithwind, and just think really hard and try and reach out.
Think really
I
hard.
don't do all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just see if anything happens.
Right.
But I don't know how this crown works. I mean,
Yeah. So let me pull up a sheet here.
maybe this music is just everybody like. I just got to find
harmonizing.
I've got to find the right note and just focus on that note. I don't know.
I'm getting some big
The
old
symphony.
Masters of the Universe vibes here.
I don't know.
Oh
Oh man, that film's crap, but I can't help.
Oh, that movie's great. I love it.
The cosmic key.
So, yeah, let's go with a will of 4 again.
Making a roll, man.
Makes the king roll.
I'm gonna dump 2 persona into this one because this is important.
I love that. He's not got a thing for Wraithwind, but he's like, I won't spend any persona.
Dump
I won't spend any
away.
persona to help me with the crown when I'm facing the ultimate darkness. However, trying to do a collect call for Wraithwind.
Oh, for fuck's
So
sake.
close. All right, here we go.
There is a 6 in there, though, right?
Here we go, guys. Here we go.
Come on, big money.
Come on.
Oh, no. Why?
And your intent was
To contact her to try and converse, or to kind of tell Wraithwind to come to the city
Summoner.
now where
Yeah.
I am. I need them. I need to speak to them.
there is you project your voice and your thoughts to Rathwen, which does succeed. So you reach out and you can see where she is. She is walking along a rather sizable convoy of wagons and people walking on foot by the wagons somewhere.
Yeah.
You project your thoughts and your words to her, and you can sort of get these glimpses of her. You can tell when she picks up on the fact that your voice is upon her, and you can hear a distant comment from her, which is merely just, I hear your words, and you've
Okay.
come to Keramaros post haste because
It's going down.
things are
Posto
going
facto,
down,
posto facto, please get over here.
and I do think the end bit here is when you're retracting yourself. You don't have vocabulary for this either because you've never done this before.
Yep.
Probably no one has, and but you're extemporizing, you're retrieving the power, and as you do so, there's a sort of like an aftertaste or like a side tangent, and there's just a whisper as you're sort of finished. Your senses are pulled back. Just before that finishes, there's a little by little, all fall to me. And as a result of your failure here, we're going to give you a new emotional attribute.
Wait, what?
I'm going to put on your sheet now next to your circles because there's a couple empty spaces here for this type of shit.
Oh, the empty book.
Yep.
Oh, oh man.
What is it? I want to see.
You now have B1 corruption.
Oh
boy.
We're going down the dark path.
And there's like lingering unease with this whispering voice telling you that like eventually everything falls to me. And you feel like the world ain't quite right the way that it was anymore.
We'll know something's gone wrong when Cameron's like, I've been thinking about this title of king. I was thinking maybe Emperor's got a nicer ring to it.
Red Lord, maybe?
The Black Hand, maybe.
Oh boy.
Right. Okay. So I guess we'll leave it at that. Looking at the clock. So
thank you very much for that. That was a great session.
Thank you. Yeah.
That was very interesting.
Yeah, thanks for playing. It didn't go as we planned, but that is often the case.
Still good fun though.
Yeah.
Right. I will end the stream here so we can sort out Arthur and whatever.
Yeah.
Again, thank